Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome you all. And thanks for joining this webinar, Fabric IQ and AI Foundry, where we are going to talk about data agents and how we leverage Fabric IQ and AI Foundry in building these data agents. Um, Next slide, Shikar. Okay, my name is Alex, and I'm with Royal Cyber. I lead the Microsoft Fabric practice here at Royal Cyber, and with me is Shikar Saraswat. He's our data scientist. He's DP600 and DP700 certified in Fabric. Uh, we are going to talk more about how we help organizations modernize their data platforms and unlock real business value using AI-driven analytics. So over the last couple of years, we've been seeing an incredible surge in the interest around AI. Every organization wants to leverage AI to drive like smarter decisions, automate processes, and create competitive advantages. But many teams are still facing a fundamental challenge, which is their data foundation isn't ready for AI at scale. Either like data is scattered across systems, or analytics tools are fragmented, and teams spend more time preparing data than actually generating insights. And this is exactly where modern platforms like Microsoft Fabric, combined with emerging capabilities like AI Foundry and intelligent data agents, are changing the game. In today's session, we are going to show you how organizations can move from experimenting with AI to operationalizing it across the enterprise. Um, So before diving into this session, a little bit about Royal Cyber. We are IT consulting and digital transformation company. We specialize in like services, solutions, and software. We are placed across the globe, like you can see from the map. We are in Canada, US, headquartered in US. We have presence in Canada, India, Australia, New Zealand. We have more than 600. We serve to more than like 600 plus clients. We have more than 500 plus certified consultants. We have 2,000 plus employees globally, and we are technologically partnership with like all leading service providers in the industry, including Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Oracle, so on and so forth. So here's a list of clientele who we work with today. Or we work on different domains, including healthcare, manufacturing, retail, emerging technologies, banking, and finance. These are some of the names that we are allowed to take. A few of the names that would stand out here is like AAA Insurance, Humana, Jabil, um, Mercedes Benz, Capital One, and there are a lot to add to this clientele. As I mentioned earlier, we are strongly partnered with most of the leaders in the IT, and we are technology agnostic company, which means like we work in best interest of our customer. Not everyone will need a Microsoft Fabric. Not everyone will need a Amazon. Not everyone will need a Databricks. We work in interest of our customer. We have expertise across multiple technologies. That's what this shows here, and our expertise also comes with our strong partnership with all the leaders in the industry. Next one, Shikha. Okay, so here are some of the key practice areas we practice in our company, ranging from digital commerce to digital transformation, generative AI, adoption, automation and optimization, data modernization, and enterprise architecture. And we belong to data modernization group. Next slide, Shikha. And these are our focus areas in the data and AI group, where we focus more on generative AI and advanced analytics, automation and optimization, and data modernization. And in data modernization, we work more on like data strategy and roadmap development, real-time data analytics and visualization, machine learning and AI integration, and continuous data improvement strategies. And we work on multiple products, including Databricks, Snowflake, and Microsoft Fabric. As I mentioned, we represent the data analytics and AI practice group at Royal Cyber. And here is especially on data and AI side, like these are our strong partnership areas with Databricks, Microsoft Fabric, Snowflake, and you can see like AWS, Google, Gemini, and everything. And on the data and AI side, this is what we offer to our customers. It ranges from data architecture, data integration services, data warehousing. If you want to build and deploy a large language models, or if you are going to work on like AI agents, these are the areas that we are helping today with our customers. You can pick any of this offering from here, or you can bundle more than one offering from this as well, and we'll be happy to help you in any areas that you are interested in. So this shows our partnership with Microsoft. We are gold certified partners, and we are also in customer investment fund enabled. So which means like if you have a use case which qualifies for Microsoft funding, we will be happy to work with Microsoft and get you that funding, which you can leverage for building your applications on Microsoft Fabric. We are Microsoft solution partners specializing in data and AI. And not with respect to just Fabric, we also have a separate practice entirely for Microsoft, where we work more on like Azure, Power BI, Microsoft Fabric, Purview, Copilot, and so many other legacy technologies as well. So we all know this, right? That AI is transforming the world. We have seen this over a couple of years. So we are living in a moment where data is growing faster than organizations can consume it, and AI is advancing even more faster. Whatever is current, like couple of months back, is completely obsolete now, and every department is generating more information than ever before. Like yet the ability to turn the data into timely decisions, it did not have kept the pace. So, and AI has incredible potential, right? But without clean, governed, and contextual data, it is very difficult to deliver reliable results. And that's why enterprise now needs a system that understands their data, apply business rules, enforce security, and provide instant, trustworthy insights. And this is where data agents and Microsoft Fabric come in. Fabric unifies all your data into a single governed foundation, and data agent sits on top of it, and it helps you to make that the data more conversational, intelligent, and actionable for everyone. And together they transform enterprise from a world of manual reports and SQL task tickets to real-time AI driven decision makings. And to talk more about Microsoft Fabric and how we can leverage that, we'll pass it on to Shikar.
All right. So this slide represents what Fabric is and what are the operations that we do. Fabric is a set of artifacts which used to be part of the Azure umbrella. We consolidated all the tools that you require within your Microsoft tenant in order to get insights from your data, be it your Microsoft tool, Office sets, or it could be Microsoft Fabric, it could be your data lakes, it could be your PowerPoints, your data sitting in your vector databases in Azure AI Search. All of that can now be aggregated and consolidated within one umbrella called Fabric. What it offers is a great connection and integration with various AI services, and it gives you the flexibility to work on real time workflows. It gives you the flexibility to work on data science workflows. And on top of it, we have the flavor of reporting.
So, so let's define this a bit more clearly, Shikar. What exactly is a data agent?
Great question. Think about all the data floating around in any organization: enrollment numbers, financial reports, student records, it could be health data. It's everywhere, but it's messy. Data agents are basically the layer that takes all that raw, scattered data and turns into something AI can actually use. It is governed, queryable, and ready to go.
So you mean to say that someone, if they are sitting in a register office, they can simply type a question instead of writing a SQL?
Yeah, exactly. These are the few key reasons that matters. First, you get AI ready intelligence, data that's cleaned up and structured so AI tools can work with it. Second, everything stays accurate and secure. It also gives you centralized rules, lineage tracking, and permission which are baked in. Third, this is big one, that it's reusable. One data agent can power Fabric, Teams, Copilot, Azure AI Foundry, all of it.
So that's a pretty big shift in how organizations are accessing their data, right?
Exactly. Definitely. And people don't need SQL wizards to use it. It's the beauty of natural language queries. You just ask a question and you get your answer. No technical skills required. Now comes the question, what are data agents?
So how does this actually work, like end to end? Can you just like walk us through this?
I can. Before that, let me just show you something, an example where someone's using the registrar's office and they could just type a SQL question instead of writing SQL. So you don't have to write a SQL, you don't have to come up with a DAX query, you do not need any KQL, you just ask. And the bigger picture here is that it democratizes analytics. So you're not waiting on the BI team to pull a report for you. Your insights come faster, and the dependency on a small group of technical people drops dramatically. That's a pretty big shift on how organizations do it. Now comes the question, right? How does this actually work end to end? So there are two sides to it, the creator and consumer. The creator is the person who sets everything up. They create the data agent in Fabric, they connect the data sources, they select which tables to expose, configure instructions for how the AI should behave with it, and then finally you publish it. Once it's
So what
published,
happens like once you published?
oh, sorry, I changed this. Okay, once we publish, that's where the consumers come in. They can access the agent through multiple channels, Fabric, Microsoft Teams, Copilot, Azure Foundry, and we're also coming up with REST APIs. So you can actually embed this in any of your websites if you want to.
So it's not logged into like any one tool. It's everywhere people already work.
Exactly. That's the whole point. You meet the users where they are.
So where do we
This
use
takes,
this data agent?
let's look at how the workflow comes in, right? Where do we actually use this data agent? Where does it come into picture? So let's, sorry, let's look where these people are sitting. So you'll have the users and the leadership who are going to ask questions to your AI layer. This AI layer is going to work on top of your fabric, which is working with data agents, which sits on top of your data. And finally, this data is ingested to various sources, which are defined below. So let's assume you're an organization which is working in education. You have an LMS, which is Blackboard or Canvas. You have your HR data sitting in Workday, and you also have Banner. These data sources are then ingested into Fabric, where you break them into a medallion architecture through lakehouse and warehouses. You bring an ontology layer, which we'll be diving in deep later on. And finally, there's a Fabric data agent on top. This data agent can be orchestrated and triggered by AI Foundry or Copilot, which can be exposed through your Teams, Microsoft M365 Copilot, or it could be in your websites as well. That's how the whole data workflow works.
Okay, so if you have any data source, not just like whatever you have listed over there, we can bring in like all data into the fabric and then like build a medallion architecture on top of that, and then like build AI agents on top of that.
Yes, that's
Is
what
that how it
the
works?
That's what the platform provides us with. It gives you a platform which is a SaaS based tool where you can do all of these configurations and create your data pipelines from end to end and then use AI on top of it.
Okay.
This gets us to data agents. What are their capabilities and how do they integrate with your systems?
So who is actually using this stuff today? Is this still early stage, or real organizations are on board to this?
Oh no no. This is very real. You've got major names which already use Azure AI Foundry tools like ASC, Colmaner, KPMG, Philips, many more. We're talking healthcare, consulting, advertising, technology, a real cross section of industries, including us.
Okay. So this is pretty strong signal that this isn't just a proof of concept, right?
Absolutely. These organizations are running production workloads with these tools. It's validated at scale.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second. Where does all of this fit in the bigger picture in Microsoft ecosystem?
So, this is Microsoft Foundry. Think of it as the AI app and agent factory. It's a platform that brings together everything you need: models, agent service, IQ, tools, and machine learning, all sitting under one roof with a unified control plane.
So it works on both like cloud and edge.
Yep, that's the architecture. Cloud to edge, with security, compliance, and governance built in across the whole stack. It is designed so you can build, deploy, and manage AI agents at enterprise scale without stitching together a bunch of disconnected services.
Hmm. So Foundry is basically the foundation that makes data agents possible.
That's a good way to put it. It is the engine room. It is where you actually get it running.
Okay, now we keep saying agents need tools. What does that actually mean in practice? What are those tools?
Tools are what amplify the intelligence of an agent. Think of it as your capabilities. There are three big things that they need. First is context. The tools you need to understand your policies, your data, your priorities. Without business context, you're just getting generic answers. The second is workflows. They need to be repeatable and measurable, not one off manual process that slows down everything. And the third is adaptability. They need to flex with your business needs and costs.
So you mean to say that without the right tools, the agent is just flying blindly?
Pretty much exactly what I mean. You'll have lack of context. Your manual workflows killing productivity and high customization cost. The tools in Foundry are pre-built but customizable. They operate on your data, integrate with your systems, and accelerate your time to value.
All right. Enough slides now. Let's see this thing work. What are we looking at here?
Before I take you to the demo, I'm still going to give you some more slides, Alex. This is the Fabric Data Agent, the conversational AI for data exploration. You can see that it connects to your warehouse, lakehouse, and Power BI semantic models. The AI sits in the middle, and on the right, you see a chart interface. Here, someone can simply ask how many trips occurred in January, and it gets back and it responds like there was 17,145 trips in January.
And that's it. You just like ask a question and get an answer.
No, that's not just it. There's a lot that's going in behind. But for you, all you need to do is ask a question. You don't have to write a sequel. You don't have to wait on a report. You don't need to open a ticket. You could just go through it and see it in action, which we'll be seeing shortly.
So let's bring this home to higher ed. What's the actual pain point we are solving?
Okay, so this demo that we're working assumes that you have a university. Universities run on data, enrollments, fees, scholarships. But the reality now, every time someone needs an answer, they're stuck in a multi day waiting game.
So walk us through what that looks like for today.
Sure, we have the following steps. The first is submitting a ticket. Then the analysts or the technical staff, they're going to write your SQL. Then comes the validation round. A team will validate the data and its accuracy, following by a server refresh so that you know that you're working with your accurate and recent data. And finally, after some time, could be days, could be hours, depends on the complexity, you would get the report that you needed yesterday.
Yeah, that's pretty painful. And we have seen this a lot, right? And especially when you need something for a meeting in an hour.
Exactly. Today's world demands speed. They honor people who work fast. We need insights in 20 seconds, not 2 days. This impacts the student experience, institutional efficiency, and competitive positioning.
So what's the alternative here? Like, what does the future look like?
Meet Fabric Data Agent, your instant data analyst. It delivers critical information instantly. It's like having a senior data analyst available 24/7. No SQL, no delays, no bottlenecks.
Um, can you give us like a concrete example here?
Surely, we have two prompts. This is what we're going to see it in action. How many students are currently classified as high risk? When we prompt this, it's simply going to go, it's going to calculate the risk by adjoining academics, attendance, finances. No manual SQL would be needed. Similarly, if we look at, we want to see what is the effectiveness category of advisors based on the advising session. Let's just jump onto the demo so that we understand the landscape better and these prompts make more sense.
Yeah, let's see the demo. So what did we use
Quickly,
for this demo? So it is Microsoft Fabric. You built in an lakehouse for this. What are the components you used for this demo?
I'm a big voucher of MS Fabric. So what we've done is we have created a multi-domain data setup where we're basically targeting tables like advising, which gives you an action plan, the advisor ID, advisor name, the session when this was conducted. It also includes the student who was part of the session, the topic for the advising. Then we have attendance, course, date, status for each student. We have courses for each student. What is the course ID? What's the name? What are the credits? What department does it come under? Then we have financials. We have a mapping table called enrollments, which is tying our students to the course they have enrolled for in specific terms. Then we've got financials, which gives you balance, scholarship, student ID, the tuitions, and any financial aid that they're getting. And finally, we have the students table, which gives you the enrollment year, first name, gender, last name, all the personal details about the students. So let's
This
start with,
table looks like very clear for me, right? Like if I see this table, most of the names here are like all self-explanatory. Like if my tables or my column names are not self-explanatory. For example, address can be ADD1 in most of the organization, right? We have ADD1, ADD2. So even the data agent works with that.
yes, even though data agent is very smart in understanding these things, if you have some technical jargons or something that is very specific to your company, let's say PID, it could be a person ID or it could be personal ID. We do not know. So this depends on how you actually use it in your business. So we have tools like Ontology, which we're going to see next, which actually gives the business context to your data so that you're not tweaking the data within the tables and the columns. You're
Right.
actually creating a semantic layer on top of it, which is apprehendable or understandable with the LLMs. So let's start with a basic query. Let's just ask, how many students do we have? This is a simple one, right? But for this, I need to go and check it in my database. No more. You simply go, you ask the question. What data agent does is it first rewrites your question. So it rewrites my prompt so that it can get better insights. So it rewrote it as how many students do we have? And when we see, it says how many students are in the database. It selected the count of star as student count from the database and it returned this result, which was then summarized for me and answered as there are 500 students in the database. Now let's see which students are getting financial aid. Now, if you go look at the financials, there's no column that says financial aid, but our data agent should be smart enough to see that we also have something called scholarship or tuition paid. This could be used to understand whether a student is receiving financial aid or not. So if you see this, it actually rewrote my prompt and it said list the students who are receiving financial aid or scholarships. And it finally got me a result of these students where it is summarized. Now, why is it summarized? Let's see. The query returns a lot of results, but you cannot present all of them on the chat. So it just listed some of them and said that we have others too. But it created a join between the data tables. Select distinct students from students table, joining the financials table where scholarship is greater than zero. Isn't that smart?
This is
Now
pretty
let's
interesting, especially when we when we see it write the SQL, right?
exactly.
And
Now
can it
let's
write
take
like any complex SQLs?
it can. I'll show you very soon. But before that, let's see something interesting here. Let's say we want to try something like how many students are currently at high risk. Now, do any one of you or Alex, do you realize what is high risk category?
I have no idea.
Is there a column that says how many students are high risk? No.
Not that I saw one. I never
And
saw one.
even if you can't understand, this data agent also cannot understand. But how do
Hmm.
we solve this problem? This is a business context or a business terminology that is important to me. So now we come with ontology. We create ontology that gives it an understanding of what is that thing. What does high risk actually mean? So we'll hit this prompt now with ontology. So something that you guys should focus here is that with the database, I have included my semantic layer and ontology on top of it. This will give us the understanding of what is high risk. So now it responds that there are currently 31 students classified as high risk based on the attendance below and outstanding above $5,000. Isn't that amazing? I'll quickly refresh this because I want to show you one more thing.
So you used ontology to train this agents or give more context to this agents.
Correct. We can ask really
Interesting.
complex questions also. Let's see this one. Now, I'm not asking a data fetching query. Now I'm trying to analyze data. What does our enrollment trend look like over the past 5 years? Are we
Hmm.
growing? Is it flat or is it declining by major? Let's see how data agent takes care of this. It showed that the enrollment trends by major, which is business administration, is growing. Biochemistry, it's growing. Biology growing. Accounting declining. Civil engineering declining. But when we talk about the query, let's take a look at that too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rerun this query and see what are the steps that were taken in
Okay.
order to come to this conclusion. So we can see that in real time also. The query which was ran for this, it actually aggregated the data. So what it did is it wrote this query, which took the year list as distinct years. It took the top 5 years, enrollment counts for each of the major, ranked it as ranked years, pivoted all these based on conditions where if it is rank 1, then year 1, if not 2, this is a case. Then it selects the data for each of these years. If it is greater than the previous year, then it's growing. If it is not, then it's declining. And if it is the same or somewhere nearby, it's flat. So this query would take you at least minutes, even if you go to the GPT or some AI tool. try to get the
Right.
answer, give the context to that tool, show the data, uh, the the data schema, like how many tables you have, what are the columns.
Hmm.
But here you simply ask a question. The data agent creates this query. It goes and fetches that data, finds the analysis, and finally it summarizes that for you. And you get answers like enrollment trends by major over the past 5 years are growing for business administration, declining for mechanical engineering, and it is mostly flat for biology, computer science, nursing. So this also analyzes data for you rather than just answering you simple questions.
And this also ensures that your data stays within your own data estate. No third party system is looking into that. You don't have to copy the schema to GPT or something to get the to write this query.
Correct. No more data
Everything
leaks.
sitting in Fabric. No more data leaks. Yeah.
You don't have the need to do it. It's already right there. And this can be orchestrated with your AI Foundry. We can create multiple such data agents without ontology, data agents with ontology, data agents for finance, data agents for healthcare, data agents for students, data agent for personal executive questions, data agents for CFOs, data agents for professors. You just need to plan how you want to break it up, and these can be orchestrated through AI Foundry. It honors the respective um, actions, roles, and responsibilities of each user. So if you don't have access to the data or agent, it's not going to answer you. Even if this data agent is exposed to someone who does not have the privileges to this data, it's not going to respond. So these are the things that we expect from Microsoft, and they are honoring our expectations.
So, and if
Now
an
let's
organization is building a agentic AI, right? And Fabric, your data agents can be like one of the agent in that agentic AI. Is that
correct,
right?
correct. It could be an army of data agents where each data agent is taking care of a separate concern.
Okay.
Let me go back to my slide. So I hope this makes more sense now. That how did it actually get the answer of this prompt?
Yeah, it does.
So in order to
Okay.
summarize
So,
what we
mhm,
actually did,
mhm.
let's do this. Let's paint a picture. Think of someone who's heading to a minute with the chancellor in 5 minutes and needs real numbers. Right? How does it work? This isn't hypothetical. It happens all the time. High stakes meetings, urgent decisions, they require accurate data immediately. Traditionally, questions like how many students are on financial aid? Give me their name, get me the email, let's see how much are we helping for social causes. This would mean pulling your scholarship data, filtering them, cross referencing them with students, exporting it, formatting it, emailing it. That's ours. If not days, that's definitely ours.
So, and with the
And you,
data agent,
you simply ask.
it's
The agent instantly understands your query. It navigates the data, it applies the logic, and returns a complete, accurate list. No analyst, no waiting.
so. What about something more urgent, like academic intervention?
Perfect example, I would say. A world history professor messages saying half the students haven't shown up since midterms. You can't wait for a ticket queue. Student success depends on immediate action. You just prompt, get me the student details for world history, instant roster with enrollment status, attendance, and contact information. The agent understands the relationship, and you can then start working on it. You can send them feedback emails, you can ask them what went wrong, why are they not showing up after the midterm. It gets faster. Sorry, my slides hung up. Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about this use case. Can you tell me like what the scenario here is?
Yeah. So the scenario here is that finance needs an urgent list of unpaid students for payment. Traditional process, you submit a request, wait for approval, report gets delivered too late, and the deadline is missed. And with the data agent, again, it's simply asking the questions. So you get the three big metrics like 20-second response time, 100% self service, and natural language queries for everyone.
And this is like more real time. Anytime I want information about some data, I just go ask the agent and it will give me immediately. No waiting, no
Exact,
nothing.
exactly. It delivers insights for whatever you need.
So if you're ready to eliminate your data delays, this is your answer, right?
Correct. This is your answer.
Okay. And before we wrap up, let's talk a little bit about ontology. You were talking about ontology during during the demo as well. So is this what separates a usual agent from a guessing machine?
Yes, this is critical. Let's look at the before and after. Without ontology, you ask how many students are at high risk. The agent comes back and says zero students identified, but that's not true.
So
The
it's just like,
information, yeah.
mhm. Can you clarify this?
So basically, what happens is that it's not like we didn't have the data. It just
Mhm.
did not understand. It does not understand what risk means. It does not understand what effectiveness
Hmm.
means. It just guesses, it misses the tables, and gives you completely wrong information.
So it just didn't know like what each term meant.
Right. Without ontology, the agent does not know what this means. But now with ontology, there's a massive difference. The ontology layer defines formal business rules, the risk scores. It combines the GPA, absence rate, and financial balance. The advisor effectiveness combines all of these and it's applying to your institution's definitions.
That's a pretty big difference. Like what actually changed in this?
The things that change is that we defined the business context with the tool called ontology. So without it, it just guesses, and with the ontology, it understands the domain business rules and business terms and slangs. So without ontology, you've got a SQL generator that guesses, but with ontology, you have an expert which understands your domain. That's the difference between a tool and a toy.
So what's the key takeaway for us here?
The key takeaway is that with AI, you need a lot of your business context, and that's what
Mhm.
gives your data the meaning which AI understands.
And that's where the ontology is going to help provide more context to the AI.
Correct.
Okay.
With this, we can take questions now. Alex, I see a bunch of questions coming up.
Okay.
Do you want to read them to me?
Yes. Give me 1 second. Question number one: did you have to provide the AI agent context that scholarship a synonym for financial aid? Did you have to
No,
give that context?
no, we did not provide any context. It is simply sitting on top of our data. I can even show you this. Let me quickly. I can take the next question while I'm showing this.
Yeah, I mean, it is also related to ontology. So the second question is, it's not clear where you provided the context for the AI agent. Where is the ontology layer?
So the ontology layer sits on top of your semantic models. That's where you create it. So semantic model is basically what powers your reports, right? Any Power BI report sits on top of a semantic model. And once we have the tables, the relationships, that's where we bring in ontology. There's also something called graph, which is also part of it, but we're trying to keep it separate for now.
Can you show that, Shikar, on Fabric, like, how and where do I see this ontology and graph? That's pretty much the next question. How was ontology defined? And please show some details.
Okay, let me.
If you can bring in the Fabric screen, show us like where did you map, show the graph ontology layers.
So this is sorry. So this is where we actually created that. Ontology gives you entities. You can add entities like students, courses, advisors. You can get those entities here, define the relationship between them, create properties. So let's say you have e-year, you can rename this as enrollment year so that it understands what enrollment actually means. This thing can also be automated with a lot of Terraform scripts. So how we do it is something that we offer as part of our accelerators, that it again uses AI to create these descriptions, maintain metadata tables, and this workflow, all you need to do is go and check whether something actually means correctly in your metadata table, and it's going to update all these tables and their properties within ontology. So even this can be automated. Then you also can add relationships, how these
Yeah.
are working with each other, how is the relationship defined, and on top of it, you can also get graph involved.
So
So
you also
that's
mentioned that
how it
you can
works.
change the property, right, Shikhar? When you change the property here, is it also going to change the column name or field name in the table?
No, if that would be true, it would actually disturb your pipeline. Your pipelines
Yeah,
would break right
exactly.
away. So
Yeah.
what we do is we just create a semantic layer on top so that it's not being affected on the tables, but your
Okay.
AI understands the context. On the first question that we asked, I just want to show you guys how and where the meaning was defined. So here we just enabled the database. You just are getting all the tables. The instructions are also left blank. There's no instruction. These are just pre-filled ones. That is for my understanding to add here something, and we don't have anything. The agent is self-sufficient to understand the relationships, create queries, and respond on them.
And is it because we have like a proper defined column names and table names?
For now, yes. Without
And,
ontology, it would be difficult.
okay. And what is the use of this agent instruction? Why do we use this agent instruction?
It is basically like a prompt for your LLM. Just how you go and prompt your GPT that, okay, take the persona of a business analyst or act as a content manager. So to give personas instructions on how to respond, whether to give you this response in the form of a summary or you just want the data. So in order to control your responses, we use instructions. It can also be prompted for specific instructions. Like let's say when the user asks me for an ice cream, you return this. Or if you ask for the chart for specific company, you give this. So you can do that kind of instructions through these prompts.
And can we also set up some kind of a guardrails using this instructions?
Within Fabric, you can create guardrails with these instructions, but
Mhm.
what we suggest is creating them in AI Foundry. So what happens
Okay.
is these agents work for data extraction and giving you the true source of data so that nothing is filtered out. And then the guardrails with proper definition and more granular control are taken care of in AI Foundry.
Okay. And suppose if I have to do any governance on this data, is there any tool within Fabric that can be used as a governance for this data, which which is going to work with these data agents?
We have Purview integrated well within Fabric. So all your data lineage, PII classification, any kind of governance controls that you want can be integrated right within Fabric.
Okay, that's interesting.
I see one more question. How much would a setup cost in US dollars online 24/7? So one interesting thing, you're not paying for data agents. You're paying for your compute that comes as part of the Fabric license, the capacity, F2, F4, F8, F16, depends on how many such data pipelines you have and how much prompting you're doing with your agents, which can be monitored through your Fabric capacity metrics app so that you can define, do we need a bigger or a higher capacity license or a lower one? So that also helps you to keep your costs in control.
So if I don't know like which capacity I should be in, like will you be able to help me? Is there any tools that can help? to figure out which capacity I have to be in?
So we use Fabric Capacity Metrics app, but our general suggestion is you always start smaller. And
Hmm.
as your need grows, as you see that your compute is actually less than what you need for your growing data needs, then you go to a higher capacity because it's a double jump. From F2, it goes to F4, F4 to
Mm.
F8, 8 to 16. It's not 8 to 10. So we always start smaller and go higher.
Okay.
All right, let me go back to my slides now.
Okay. Um, there are a couple of other questions. One is how to orchestrate these agents in Foundry. Can you show that?
Uh, we cannot show that because we're exceeding the time here. But what I can do is basically what we do is we make available these agents as form of tool calls. So whenever you want to configure an agent, you add it as a tool call or an agent within AI Foundry, and it is readily available to use. It is native integration, so you do not have to do a lot of complex setup. You simply define the artifact ID, the workspace ID, and you should have the proper login credentials. Like you should have the master service account, or you should have the principal identity, or your own account from which you created the data agent. So that should be enough for you to integrate it. And then the
Okay.
orchestration, it depends on how you do it in Foundry. It's a separate tool which is not part of the scope.
Okay. And don't worry, like if you're not seeing, the orchestration of agents in the Foundry, we'll try to set up some time with you, and we'll definitely walk you through like how we do this.
Okay, my screen got stuck again.
Okay.
This brings to the last one. These aren't future capabilities. This is what Royal Cyber delivers right now. So we're implementing Fabric, enabling AI copilots, building governance, modernizing data platforms across multiple industries. So this slides reinforces what we actively execute in our projects today. So we'll be happy to connect and discuss anything of that sort, even orchestration through AI Foundry.
And this is where like all the areas like we are helping, right? So we, right from very small, from like discovery, trying to see like if you're not on cloud already, like trying to set up the infrastructure, bring in the data from your on-prem sources or any other sources, bring them into the fabric and try to build the agents or do any data modernization, data analytics, um, everything, from fabric. So.
Uh, we
Mhm,
got one more question, and I'll take that before we actually conclude the session.
mhm.
So there's a question: will this work with Dataverse tables? So yes, we have inbuilt connectors for Graph. Graph actually exposes all your data within Microsoft, whether it's in Word, is it in Dataverse, anything that can be connected through Graph could be brought into Fabric, and you can get the answers.
Okay. So
I hope your
thank
questions were well answered and it's insightful and helpful for you all.
yeah. Thank you all for taking time to join this webinar. And if you guys are going to be part of the FabCon, we do have an exhibit in FabCon. Would love to meet you over there. Thank you all and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.